All right. I'm going to be getting started right now. I'm just going to share this on my other YouTube channel in case people go into that channel. I want to be able to direct people here. Okay, so if anyone's commenting, I'll be able to check in a minute. Just trying to get situated here. Let's see. Good morning. It's still morning. Still 30 more minutes for morning for us. Okay. All right, there we are. All right. So I did do a couple of things without being on camera yesterday. It was bugging me, and I didn't want to set everything up with the camera and everything, so I just went ahead and did it. But there's a lot of reds and the yellows are really, really bright. And I decided to soften it up. Let's see here. Oops. Let me forward this. There it is. All right, just making sure this thing's running. And it is. All right. I'm going to let a few more people come in, then I'll explain the changes I did. Well, I set up. I'm just going to set up, guys. I'm just going to set up here. And so I can get started. Okay, what am I going to do here? Add more leaves. That's what I'm gonna do. Get some of my greens out here. A little yellow. going through my paint. It's the same? Oh, yeah, that one. That's the green I was looking for. Can you guys hear me good, guys? If anybody's watching, if you could just quickly comment, make sure, because I'm using my my lavalier mic. It's attached to me instead of having to. I felt like I always had to yell because it was recording it off the microphone on the camera, and I brought it from the church, my little lavalier mic, so I just attach it to my shirt so I don't have to be yelling. I could just talk normal. But let me know if you guys can hear it. Sometimes it doesn't work. Sal 415. All right. Amen. Thank you, brother. Let's see here. Isaiah Rosales, how you doing, brother? So, I yesterday we were heading to the church, and I had about 30 minutes, and something was bugging me. The colors in the sky were way, way too bright. I know Sharon had told me that. But I thought it was fine. But I went to Los Angeles on Friday morning. We did a quick turnaround. I took Sharon to see her mom on Friday, spent the day with her kids, her older kids, on Saturday, and headed back, got home at midnight so I can make it for Sunday service. But anyways, when we left Friday morning, we left at 5:30 in the morning from our house. It was still pitch black. And we're driving down, and it was maybe 45 minutes before we hit the Grapevine. Maybe an hour, I don't know, whatever, it doesn't matter. And I saw the sun coming up over the Sierra Nevada mountains. And I realized that the colors in the sky weren't they weren't that bright. They were almost like a pastel, like there was shades of yellow and shades of orangish red, but it was soft. It looked very soft, you know. And so that I saw that Friday, and it bothered me all Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and I couldn't take it. And yesterday, I didn't have time to set up the camera. I know I promised that I would do everything I do in this painting live, but I didn't have enough time because I gotta, see, I had to bring this, and then I gotta bring all my paints, set the table up, set the camera up. I have a light. There's not enough light in my living room, so I have a special YouTube channel light that I use. And I didn't want to do all that. It was bugging me. I didn't want another day to pass. So I came and I softened this up, added some clouds, made it real soft like, and I'm pretty sure those of you that have been watching this can tell. I believe it looks 100 times better now. I'm not done. I still want to add a little bit more clouds here, but it looks soft. It looks more natural, the way a real sunset or sunrise looks. Now this is going to be a sunset. And from my understanding, the way the mountain range is and over there. But that's kind of my explanation. But today, all this white shouldn't be there. All this white is going to be leaves. And then there's going to be even more as it fills in all the way back. This is not a green grass. This is going to be, it's a field. But I want to start with the giant leaves first. And that's what I'm going to do now. So each leaf has to be a different shade of green. And that's going to be kind of the trick to where it's going to look like a whole bunch of leaves. It's something that you can't hurry this process, you know. That's why, like I said, this video is probably going to be a little boring, unless you're bored already. But it's important to get this process done. I can see your comment, so if you comment, I have my laptop. Oh, you can see it on the screen. See it right here? And that way I can just glance over in case somebody's asking a question or whatnot. So to give it the effect that this is closer and that's further, these leaves are going to be big, and then here's going to be a layer of like a little bit smaller leaves, and then it's going to just kind of go and get lost. And it's going to give the effect of depth. And we had an amazing grocery giveaway yesterday. Those that were able to help from the church, you're so appreciated. Thank you so much. You guys are awesome. So many families pulled up. So many families, that need the extra help, especially during this holiday. That's why we chose to do. Usually we do it on the fourth Friday of every month. But Sharon was like, we need to get these turkeys out to people before the holidays. So it was an off day. Usually we don't do it during the week. We don't do it in the evening. But it worked out perfectly. I'm gonna start filling in these white spots, but first I wanted to fix some of these leaves that were already here. The trick is slightly different shades of green. So right now I'm doing one shade of green, and then I'm gonna do more with the slightly different shade of green, and that's what's gonna give it this lush look of a bunch of different leaves. And add a little bit of yellow to make a. So when I say different shades of green, I don't mean going and buying different shades of green. Like when you get that big Crayola box and there's different greens, you add colors to the green you have to make it different shades. You add maybe blue or yellow or white, and it starts changing the same shade slightly, but good enough to where it starts to look different. And if you lose patience, it won't work. have to do little at a time. Hurrying this won't help this process. Just gotta let it happen organically. So I need to add the darker parts of this, I realize. What I mean is, if you ever look at a bush or a field, because of the giant leaves, there's a lot of shade underneath, a lot of just darkness, really, really dark. And it creates the like a depth, because it's adding shade. And I realize this needs it really bad. Sometimes it's weird. Sometimes I would start with a dark, but sometimes I start with a light. But this time I feel like I need to add the dark in order for me to really see what I'm doing. But I don't want to add black. So I'm using this really dark blue. See this blue up here? It looks black to you maybe, but this is really a really deep blue. I'm adding some of that to the green and brown, and I'm going to start to fill in some of these shade areas to give it depth, because it's not looking right to me until I do that. Hopefully you guys' day started out good. If you guys comment, I could always answer you if you have a question or anything. I'm watching, I'm looking at my screen over there to the side, so I can see if you ask anything or say anything. This is session 3 of this painting. I'm doing this as a commission work for somebody. This is going to be an original piece. My original pieces go for $2,000. And then I'm not going to make a print out of this one, but a lot of my own personal work, I make prints out of it. And then out of that print, I have them made on this. It's called Velvet Somerset paper. And I get them custom framed. And then I sign them and I put a number, because usually they're limited edition. And then it comes with the certificate of authenticity. This will come with certificate of authenticity also, but it'll be claiming that this is the original. This is already a sold piece. I just gotta finish it, which I think it's gonna be amazing. I could already tell it's gonna come out really, really nice. I just realized that this is going to have to be like leaves layered on leaves to give it the effect of a real bushy field, you know. I can tell already that that's how it's going to give that look of a full lush field. Brother Adam, how you doing, brother? Thank you, brother. God bless you. Yeah, self-taught painter. I learned to paint in federal prison. I started off by learning to draw. I couldn't draw, not even a stick, man. But yeah, I learned to paint inside of there. My brother would send me books on how to do portraits or how to do this or how to do that. And I would follow those books as if it was a college course. And each lesson it taught, I would do it until I mastered it. Like one book was like, oh, this is how you do face portraits or landscapes or trees. Well, I won't say I mastered it, but I learned through books and just trial and error. And unfortunately, sometimes the books don't explain too well. So I'd have to figure out my own way how to do something. I learned from this guy. He had a huge afro. No, just kidding. Okay, I can see it now. It's starting to. The trick is, this was a trip to me. This is what I noticed when I visit galleries. Is I used to think painting, let's say I'm painting from a photo, I used to think that I had to make it look realistic. And it's really hard, man. And honestly, it's not even fun. When you try to paint something to look exactly like a photo, it's not fun. It feels like a chore. It feels like constrained, like I'm just completely constrained. And I remember this painter one time, I was watching him on YouTube, and he goes, I understand that there's a genre of people that do that. He goes, but if you're painting an exact replica of a photo, what are you really painting? You're just making a clone of it. And then he says this, he goes, we have scanners and printers for that. He goes, allow yourself to be free. Allow yourself to not have to worry so much on making everything like a photo detail, and just let your brush do what the brush does. He says, because what will happen at the end is the people that see the painting, if you give an illusion of something, their mind fills in the rest. And then I understood why, when I go to galleries, from far away, it just looks like, let's say it's a glass of wine with a wine bottle and some landscape in the background. And from far away, it looked like a photo. But the closer I got, I realized it was just a bunch of brush strokes. And that's what was genius to me. That's what impressed me. It's like, man, that's what I want. I want somebody to look at my painting from far away and be like, wow, that looks like a photograph. And then as they get closer, just clumps of brush strokes everywhere. And personally, I like that style better. It fits me better. I'm not saying, I mean, the people that do the detail artwork, man, much props, but it just felt very constraining and boring. Because I'm just like, what am I doing, you know? Israel, you're from Yuma, huh? What is the hardest painting I have done so far? Let's see, let me think about that. I don't have a single hardest painting, but I'll tell you the type of painting that's the hardest for me is faces. No, I'm sorry, I take that back. Hands, faces or portraits, and let's say the person's hands are in it. Oh man, that is to me the hardest thing, is how do you make a hand look real? I have still to learn that skill. And not look like a 5-pack of hot dogs. There's so much shading in the hands. You know, there's shading between the fingers. There's these creases. Look at that, there's a shade. I mean, it's so hard to do hands. Usually, if somebody asks me to do a portrait, I really try to stay, which was crazy because the last one I did for Sister Phyllis was hands, and I struggled with it, but it worked. Came out, I think it came out good. But yeah, that's the hardest. Gregory Rosales, how you doing? I don't want to miss anybody on here. Okay. I'm just trying to cover all this white, and then I'm going to start layering leaves, more and more leaves. And then as I finish this front part, I'm going to start layering leaves back there. I'm still going to add clouds. This is going to be a reflection of what's up here, but I ain't even worried about the reflection yet. That's a whole other challenge into itself. This picture makes me want to visit Yuma. I found some photos and stuff to paint this, and they look pretty nice. You know, my dad's from Arizona, not from Yuma, but my dad's born and raised in Arizona. He was born in Casa Grande and grew up in Coolidge, which I visited several times to see my dad's stomping grounds. My parents met on the cotton fields out there, and when they got married, they followed the work, and the work was here in California. Or else I could have been an Arizonian or a Texan, because my mom's from Texas. My grandpa wanted my dad to go to Texas when my dad married my mom, because my grandpa didn't want to lose a daughter. But we ended up in California. By the time I was born, they had been in California for about a decade by the time I came along. Okay, this is looking great. Can you guys tell? Is it starting to look like leaves, guys? These are like lettuce, giant lettuce leaves. So it's gonna keep going further back. But this is up close, so the leaves are bigger. I think it's looking good. I need to get some, let's see what I need. I need to add some lighter colors now. Where'd my water go? Oh, there it is. I have a whole thing of brushes, but right here, for this painting, I kind of decided to keep the brushes I'm going to be using. So just to show you the brushes I'm using for this specific painting, I chose 4 brushes. I'm going to give you my reasoning why, because I used to lay out all my brushes. These are the 4 I'm going to be using. This one, they call it, it's a filbert, but they call it a cat tongue. You can tell kind of the way it's shaped. And then you got this one. And this one, which has like an edge. And this is the one I'm using right now for the leaves. So yeah, with these 4 brushes, I'm doing this painting. Now, I'll tell you my reasoning why. I have this whole thing that rolls out. It rolls out with a bunch of brushes, like, I don't know, 30 brushes, 35 brushes. And I would overcomplicate things for myself. And by the time I was done with the painting, there'd be like 30 brushes sticking in my jar. And I always felt like, oh, I got to use this brush for this, and this brush for that, and this brush for that. And I'm like, why am I overcomplicating it? Actually, this I learned from Bob Ross, watching his videos. He hardly uses a variety of brushes. And that's when I realized, okay, if I want to raise up my skill, I got to learn to do what I want to do with less brushes. It's less mess. That's why this little slot here, I can't have 35 brushes all up in here. So in the beginning of this painting, I chose the brushes I was going to use. I'm like, I'm going to stick to these. Now, at the very, very end, with little details, because this tower is going to say Yuma, there's some details in the tower, specific line, I'll probably use a very, very fine brush that I have. That's at the end. And then now I'll use that same brush to sign it. But I just want to use these 4 brushes. 1,500 snares to choose from. Exactly, right? I kind of miss producing, Adam, to be honest with you. I was talking to a brother the other day because he came into my office and he saw that I had a MIDI keyboard. And I was honest. I said, I'll be honest with you, man. I said, I don't understand how to set this up. I said, I wish I knew how to set this up, because it came with software. It came with Studio One, and then little MIDI keyboard and a whole bunch of packs of sounds or whatever. I said, I don't know how to hook it up. I said, this is way different than how I used to do things back in the day. So I bought this little keyboard with all these buttons and all this software. I don't know how to do it. I wish I could, because sometimes I would feel like just making music. I wish I could produce an album for Sharon. You know, that's what I would really like to do, is produce. I don't even care about rapping. Just producing music and producing songs for her. Like sometimes I can hear something in my head that I think would be awesome for her to have original worship, but I don't know how to set it up. I just gave up, so it just sits there gathering dust in my office. Okay, let's see. Carl Vila, is there a favorite paint that you have of yours? You mean color-wise or brand? Let me know, Maria, if you have a good picture. Well, a lot of times, if it's something local, Sharon will actually do the photography, because she knows what I need, and she'll do a photo session unless you have a specific photo you like of your dogs. I've done a lot of pets for people. Adam, thank you, man. Yeah, man. She loves your production, brother. Is there a favorite painting that I have of mine? Oh, my favorite painting? Um, my favorite painting. That's a good question. What's my favorite painting? I think if I don't think I have a favorite. I think I have, there's one I did for this family. And it was of their fathers, where their father's buried. They took this picture right after he was buried. And it was a cloudy day. And the sun was like the sunbeams, you could see through the clouds. But right where his grave was, there was like this orb or something that it was right up perfectly right above his grave, centered in the photo, and that picture meant so much to this family. And they asked me to paint it, and I painted it huge. And the way the clouds came out with the light, that's probably my favorite painting. My second favorite is probably the one behind. That's the one I did for Sharon back there. That's a photograph that she took when she first moved to Tracy, when her and Abraham came. And it was a bunch of these animals talking, I mean, gathered. It looked like they were having a meeting. So I painted that for her. That's the painting behind this painting. I did that painting too, over there. That's of Yosemite. That's not one of my favorites, but that's a painting I did. All right, Sister Maria. Yeah, let me know. Let me know. So just to let you know though, when I do animals or people, it's not the $2,000 price. It's actually a lot less. It's the stuff like this, the landscapes and things like this that are the $2,000 price. Okay, I know I'm just talking, but I'm letting this dry. All right, Adam. That'll be cool. Yeah, maybe we can both produce her. I don't even know if she wants to do a CD or not. But here's my thing, is I'm not producing it so she can have a CD. I'd love to produce songs so she can actually sing them for worship. That would be cool. Okay. Let's see, I need a white. White. Where's my white? There it is. Alfonso, how you doing, brother? Just want to get some little more work in here. Alfonso, can you tell? I softened the colors. They were really red and yellow. And on my way to LA, I realized, well, as I was watching the sun rising Friday morning, I realized that the sky isn't that bright red and bright. If you really look, it's more like pastel, softer. So I softened it up. I started adding some clouds. Okay, let's get back to this. Oh man, I didn't wash my brush and I grabbed it by the bristles. Yeah, Sharon has a desire to sing original worship songs. And It's not as easy as. Then think about it, right? That's like nobody. You would look down on me if I preached other people's sermons. Heck, I would look down on myself if I preached other people's sermons. But why is it that we sing other people's worship songs? And that's hard because, we're not musicians. Sharon's not a musician. So we're kind of left with, singing worship songs. But realistically, it'd be awesome for original worship and an original sermon. Just makes sense, right? Okay, now I'm mixing white with green to give another shade of green. It's not enough change. Let's see. Okay, I don't want to use this too much. It's a little too light, but I already made it, so I'm going to use it sparingly, but I'm going to use it. Oh yeah, it's coming out good. Nice. Okay, I wasn't sure. Man, I gotta go buy a ham. Thanksgiving, I'm just gonna be with the family, my wife and kids, my parents, my brothers. I always make the ham. I think Sharon's making a turkey and other people in the family are doing other things. Hey, this is nice. This is white mixed with green and it's helping me add a nice accent. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, see, sometimes mistakes are what makes it pop. That's the fun part of painting. It's the mistakes. I thought I made it too white, too light. I didn't like it. But it's working. How's that looking on screen? Did you tell yet? It's looking leafy. Oh man, that looks great. Alfonso, Pastor, I was reading Genesis 7:11 and the flood started in February 17th. The birthday says in the Bible, trip out this morning. Really? Interesting. Okay. I'm going to have to use black here and there, very sparingly, but I realize I have to. For the really shadowy parts. Israel, you still watching, brother? I know you're probably busy working. Yeah, there is a lot of homework in the Bible college. Well, it's just one book, but still a lot of questions, and it's a big chapter. I don't want to use a lot of black, but I got to add shadows, or else it doesn't give the proper effect. Shadows is what separates the leaves from each other. Yeah, brother, it is. It is. You're from Yuma, man. You probably see stuff like this every day. I need to go visit you, man. Go take some pictures. You're probably, this probably looks like home to you, maybe. Hopefully. That's the effect I'm trying to get for somebody from Yuma. In case somebody's wondering, like, why is he painting Yuma? Out of all, man, I've painted Yosemite, I've painted San Francisco. You know, different parts of the country have different looks. Who says I can only paint where I'm from, you know? When you start seeing around the United States, man, we live in a beautiful nation. So much to see, so much different landscapes. Yeah, Sunday part 2. I'm looking forward to part 2. Benjamin, man, Benjamin. I don't know if you guys noticed on Sunday, I had to keep looking back at the screen to read it. And it was kind of bugging me. And yesterday I told Benjamin, and he figured out, because I don't know if you guys can tell, those of you that watch online, but there's a screen that the singers, you can see it on the camera. There's a screen facing the singers so they can see the song lyrics. That way, in case a lot of them, they know the songs by heart, but it's just a reference, you know. And Benjamin figured out a way to, every time I read a scripture that's going to be on the screens, I can see the scripture, so I don't have to be like looking back. I don't like looking back. And he figured it out. Because I told him, I said, man, that's awesome, because there's going to be a lot of scriptures all over again for part 2. Yeah, Isaiah. Maybe after the holidays. During the holidays, we have way too much. I won't be able to visit anytime during the holidays. Okay. I know it looks like a strip, and that's it, but it's going to get filled in. So what's going to get tricky is having this miniature in the back, so it looks like it's going further away. That's the challenges, man. Oh, I know what I could do now. See this little dirt here? It's all one color. It's not supposed to be one color. It's supposed to be shaded dirt. It's different colors. Dirts are different browns. This is stuff, man, I didn't learn. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just gonna make it happen. Let's see. I'm probably gonna use this brush. I think this will help. My angled brush. That one. All right, Alfonso. Hey, this is my camera on my phone. Look at that. How it focuses. That's cool. And then it goes back. Hopefully I don't regret this, guys. I don't know what I'm doing sometimes. I just do it. Somehow, this has to look like dirt. And instead of taking my time and second guessing myself, I just do it. See what happens. And when I'm this close, guys, I can't even tell what it's looking like. You guys can tell what it looks like before I do, because you're watching it from a distance. I'm just trusting my instincts as I'm doing this right now. You know, there's no rhyme or reason to dirt, so there shouldn't be no rhyme or reason to what I'm doing. So, hopefully. And then once I glance at it, then I'll know whether I made a big mistake or not. You guys know if it's a mistake. At this point, you guys can see if it's a mistake or not. I don't know yet. I don't want to look at the screen yet, because then I'll start to second guess myself. Okay. Let's see. Oh. Huh. Not bad. I was nervous, man. I was nervous. Just go with my instinct. It's always the best way. Add a little bit of black, mix it with that brown, and do the same thing, just less. So I'm going to the dark spots now. That's a little bit too black. You know, those of you that do things, right? Let's say you produce music or you write books or you're a landscaper and you create landscapes or whatever it is. Have you ever have a thought? Whatever it is you create, even Sharon, like how she bakes, she creates something. She creates a stuff, you know. Do you think, here's the question. Do you think we like to create things because we were made in the image of God and He's a creator? Therefore, His attributes, like He says, let us make man in our image. Do you think it's part of that? Is that why we like to create art, create music, create recipes, create whatever? Look at that, man. It looks like dirt now. I believe so. I believe that God created us in His image, and therefore we create because He creates. He gives us joy. What did He do every time He created in Genesis? It says He looked at it and said it was good. I am so tempted to do the reflection part because it's bugging me that there's no reflection yet. But I'm not going to touch that yet. That dirt looks pretty good. I'm happy. Nice little angle brush. See, before, I used to think that I would have to spend a whole day doing that dirt to try to replicate dirt. And sometimes you just got to do it. And that's the beauty of this. I almost feel like stopping now, guys, because I'm happy, but all of this is wet paint, and I feel like I just gotta let it. This is awesome, guys. I wish you guys can see when you see sideways. There's like texture marks, and that's the beauty of having an original piece. Because even though the prints I make, they're exact replicas, exact color. Like you can't tell. You know, like when you print something at home, it never comes out like the way your phone looks. Like, no, when I get them professionally scanned and they're called G-Clays. They use these special printers with 12 different inks that will exactly match your original, but it's flat. And that's the beauty of having the original, because you can go sideways and there's all these brush marks and like clumps of paint. It's like bumpy. And yeah, like a lot of these tree line of bushes, you can see because I was dabbing it, so it left clumps of paint, and that's what gives it. That's when you know it's an original. So, well, I think I'm gonna end it there. I like what I'm getting so far. It's coming out better than I had envisioned. Eventually this green field is going to be all leaves. All this whole entire green field is going to be all leaves. Nice. I'm happy with it. So guys, I do got to get going. I gotta get ready. I gotta go get a ham so I can have all my stuff prepped for tomorrow morning. I want to see if Sharon wants to do some of the homework for the class. I'm not sure if she's up to it, but I know because she's gonna be making a turkey also. But get some reading, it'll be nice. Hopefully you guys like it so far. I'm really happy with the work so far of how it's coming out. All right, Adam, you too, man. Have a blessed holiday, you and your daughter. I'm not sure if you're going to be with family, but your family also. I finally got a chance to clean up the podcast room. That's why I haven't been using it, because that big square table, I was making my t-shirts because I didn't have anywhere to make my t-shirts. But now I set up the t-shirt room. So now at the church, I have a little room designated just to press the shirts and the hats. So now the podcast room is cleared out. It's clean. It's ready to go. I just got to turn the cameras on. That's it. So you'll be seeing a lot more podcasts now, finally. It's been a mess for the last few weeks because of the t-shirts, and there's vinyl everywhere, and all that stuff got cleaned up. Isaiah, all right, brother. Sister Maria, thank you so much. God bless you. And all of you. God bless you. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. And I'll go and do the next session probably in a few days after the holidays. And then I'll continue on this painting. See you guys later.